Welcome to a world where filters don't exist. No lies, no little white fibs, no pretending your coworker's new haircut isn't that bad. In this parallel hellscape, everyone blurts out whatever's on their mind, whether you're a cashier, a CEO, or the president of oversharing. Naturally, this creates some beautifully cringe moments, like the one we're about to dive into. Enter our unfortunate protagonist, Mark Bellison. A man so bland, his personality is basically beige. But don't worry, he's about to become somewhat interesting. We kick things off with Mark showing up for a date at Anna's place. She greets him with all the charm of a blunt object, casually mentioning he interrupted her mid-solo session. Yes, really. She then tells him to wait while she finishes. Classy. Mark, a walking nervous breakdown, says he'll think about this forever. Then overshares that he's broke, unemployed, and, surprise, in his late 40s with nothing to show for it. The romance is palpable. Anna finally comes down, looks Mark dead in the eye, and tells him she's not attracted to him. Not even a little. They head off to dinner, where things somehow get worse. At the restaurant, their waiter, clearly moonlighting as a professional buzzkill, asks if Anna is Mark's daughter. No shame. Anna flaunts her successful career while Mark just clings to what's left of his dignity. Then her mom calls, and Anna helpfully explains Mark is broke, unattractive, and someone she wouldn't touch with a 10-foot pole. Delightful. Mark still thanks her for the date. Someone hand this man a trophy for emotional endurance. Next stop, Lecture Films, where a studio exec pitches a rousing story about Napoleon. In walks Mark, our cinematic underachiever. He's introduced as the company's resident loser, and his boss seems one bad pitch away from vaporizing him on the spot. In his office, his coworker Shelley roasts his writing harder than the comments section on a YouTube short. Then his boss Anthony, the human version of a beige wall, fires him for writing a riveting screenplay about the Black Plague. Who wouldn't want to greenlight that? As if things weren't going well enough, Mark gets a rejection email from Anna. She appreciated his company, but isn't interested in dating someone who's, well, him. Shelley, always eager to kick a man while he's down, gleefully points out Anna's comments about his face. Then Brad, Mark's smug rival, joins in to declare Mark a professional failure. Feeling fantastic, Mark visits his mom at a cheery little place called A Sad Place for Hopeless Old People. He updates her on being fired and their shared legacy of mediocrity. Back at home, the landlord shows up with the subtlety of a debt collector in a mob movie. Mark can't pay rent. The landlord gives him 24 hours to vanish. Mark's broke, jobless, and living in a world where everyone reminds him of it. What could go wrong? So Mark hits the bank to drain his account. The system goes down, and the teller asks how much he has. On a whim, he says $800 instead of $300. The system comes back up, but instead of calling BS, the teller blames the computer and gives him the full amount. And just like that, Mark Bellison becomes the first person in human history to lie. Achievement unlocked. God mode. Drunk with power and slightly less broke, Mark pays his rent and starts experimenting. He tries different names on his friends, who accept each new identity without question. Greg, his friend, says that if he could do anything, he'd sleep with a girl. Naturally, Mark sees this as an opportunity for a scientific exploration. He approaches a stranger and lies. Unless she sleeps with him, the world will end. She freaks out and rushes them to a motel. But before anything apocalyptic or anatomically awkward happens, Mark calls NASA and announces the planet is safe again. Crisis averted, sort of. Later, Mark wonders aloud what they'd do with real power. His friends come up blank, so he declares he'd get all the money in the world. Go big or go bankrupt, right? Cut to Greg driving drunk, because apparently this movie needed a PSA. A cop pulls them over, but Mark lies, saying Greg's sober. The cop buys it, apologizes, and lets them go. America, baby. They hit a casino next. Mark bets on 28, the wheel hits 35, and he yells, "Look, a distraction!" He moves his chips, wins big, and walks out richer. Moral of the story? Gambling is great when you're the only one allowed to cheat. Hey, quick pause. If you're enjoying this wild ride of ethical bankruptcy, hit that like button and subscribe. We're chasing our first 1,000 subs, and unlike Mark, I won't lie to you about the world ending. Probably. Back to the madness. Mark runs into his friend Frank in an elevator. Frank says he's going to kill himself. Without skipping a beat, Mark lies again, telling Frank everything will magically be fine. Frank believes him. Mental health crisis solved? Sort of. Mark decides to start using his new power for good, like lying his way into people's hearts. He calls Anna for a second date, promising he's changed. She reluctantly agrees. Meanwhile, he watches a segment on Brad being praised for his writing. Feeling spicy, Mark writes a new script, douses it in tea to make it look ancient, and tells his boss he found it buried in the desert. Naturally. The story? Aliens saved Earth, erased memories, and foretold that Mark, the sad sack who got fired, would discover the truth and become humanity's savior. His boss, shockingly, eats this up and orders production. Brad seethes. On their next date, Anna congratulates Mark and asks about his family. He dishes out more brutal honesty. Alcoholic dad, nursing home mom. But hey, he's buying her a mansion now, so... Balance? He asks Anna if she'd consider settling down now that he's rich and successful. She says no, because she doesn't want fat, snub-nosed children. Can't argue with brutal honesty. Mark drinks his sorrows until he learns his mom is dying. At the hospital, she's terrified of the nothingness after death. So Mark, ever the innovator, lies again, describing a magical afterlife full of ice cream, loved ones, and eternal youth. Martha dies peacefully. The hospital staff overhears and demands details. Mark panics, leaves with Anna, but wakes up the next morning to a cult forming outside his house. On TV, news anchors scream about the mysterious man in the sky. Anna asks what he told his mother. Mark finally cracks and tells her the truth, then lies again, saying this divine info came straight from above. He steps outside, holding what looks like 2 pizza boxes, and delivers the 10 Commandments, now with sprinkles. Do good, avoid 3 bad deeds, and you get an eternal mansion in the clouds. Fail and you go somewhere, not as fun. In the coming days, headlines explode. NASA searches for God, productivity plummets thanks to eternal ice cream, and man in sky, hero or villain. Meanwhile, Mark's new film about the Black Plague is a smash hit. He's rich, he's famous, he's basically a messiah with a mortgage. In a park, he tells Anna she's the sweetest person he's ever met. She confesses she loves him, but still can't get over the image of pudgy, snub-nosed children. Cold. Later, Anna shows up at Mark's mansion for his birthday with a card and a coupon for sharing a bed. Cute, but she won't use it because they're not married. Brad shows up to take her on a date. During their date, Brad does what Brad does best, talk about Brad. Later that night, Anna's watching a TV interview with Mark, probably wondering if she made a mistake. Enter her mother, destroyer of hope and bringer of channel changes. She flips the TV off mid-sentence and scoffs that even if Mark chats with the celestial customer service rep in the sky, he'll never be good enough. Weeks drag by. Then one day, Anna shows up at Mark's place. He opens the door looking like he's halfway into a Castaway reboot. Long hair, beard, and an aura of I've stopped trying. She hands him an invitation to her wedding, to Brad. Yes, that Brad. And to really drive the knife in, she asks him to come. Mark begs her not to go through with it, but Anna insists she has to choose someone genetically ideal to ensure her kids come out looking like Instagram filters instead of potato dumplings. Cut to the big day. Mark wakes up and finds Greg standing over him in a suit with a shaver, like a motivational speaker for hygiene. Taking the hint, Mark finally trims the beard and heads to the wedding. At the altar, things are moving fast until the priest asks the classic, "Anyone object?" Cue a room full of dead air until Mark stands and basically yells, "She's happier with me." A bold move, Cotton. Brad, already halfway to smug, claps back. "If she's so happy with you, why is she about to marry me?" Then he plays his final card, "Ask the man in the sky." Silence, tension, existential dread. And finally, Mark breaks. He admits there is no man in the sky. Never was. Just something he made up to soothe his dying mom. It wasn't holy, it was hospice. Anna, confused but intrigued, asks why he didn't lie to make her marry him. Mark replies, because lies don't mean a damn thing if they're not real. Cue the emotional gut punch. Anna finally has a revelation, not from the sky, but from her heart. She blurts out that she does want fat little kids with snub noses, and suddenly everyone's allergies kick in from the emotional dust in the air. Cut to the final scene. Mark and Anna at breakfast with their chubby-cheeked, snub-nosed son. Anna's glowing and very pregnant. The family is imperfect, adorable, and real. Hope you enjoyed the video, and if you're still not subscribed, smash that subscribe button right now and check out the new recaps by clicking on the screen. First thousand soon, we're gonna make it.